This morning, we are getting a first look at the impact of President Trump's new executive order on grocery prices across the United States. Recent reports show that grocery costs, which have been steadily rising over the past year, are finally showing signs of easing. The Consumer Price Index for food indicates that inflation has slowed, and many Americans are beginning to see relief at the checkout. Surveys show that over 50% of Americans say rising grocery prices have been a major source of stress, particularly for seniors and families living on fixed incomes. President Trump's executive order addresses these rising costs in several key ways: price caps and subsidies. The order implements temporary price caps on staple grocery items, ensuring retailers cannot exceed certain price thresholds for essential goods. Import tariff adjustments. By revising tariffs on imported food items, the administration aims to reduce costs on products like beef, poultry, and canned goods. Supply chain incentives. Federal incentives will encourage domestic producers and suppliers to increase production of staple foods, reducing scarcity and market pressure. Senior-specific relief. Millions of seniors on Social Security and other fixed incomes will see direct financial relief, allowing them to cover rising grocery and household costs more easily. White House officials claim that these measures combined will bring measurable reductions in grocery bills starting this fall. For everyday Americans, this order could be transformative. Imagine a retired couple living on a fixed monthly income. Last year, they might have spent $900 per month just on groceries. With the implementation of this executive order, that number could drop by hundreds of dollars, freeing up funds for medical bills, rent, or other essential expenses. Families who previously had to cut back on protein or fresh produce due to cost can now shop more freely. Analysts predict that grocery chains such as Walmart, Costco, Kroger, and Target will begin adjusting their pricing within weeks to comply with the new guidelines. Social Security recipients have expressed strong support for the executive order. Many see it as a long-awaited step toward protecting the purchasing power of retirees, especially as inflation has eaten into monthly benefits. Finally, some relief, said Margaret Jenkins, a retiree in Ohio. I've had to skip buying certain foods because prices kept rising. This order will help me feed my family properly. John Rivera, a senior living in Florida, added, every dollar counts on a fixed income. If grocery bills drop, that's more money for medicine and utilities. This is a huge help. Experts note that these reactions are likely echoed nationwide, particularly in states where inflation hit hardest. To understand why this executive order is so significant, it's important to look at the factors driving grocery price increases. Supply chain disruptions, shipping delays, and labor shortages cause temporary scarcity, driving up costs. Tariffs on imports. Tariffs on products like Brazilian beef increased import costs, which retailers passed on to consumers. Weather and agriculture, droughts, floods, and other climate-related events impacted crop yields and livestock production. Energy costs. Rising fuel prices contributed to higher transportation costs for goods. By addressing these factors through policy changes, President Trump aims to reduce prices without harming domestic production or jobs. Major grocery chains have begun responding to the announcement. Costco, Walmart, and Kroger have confirmed that they will review pricing strategies in line with the executive order. Manufacturers have indicated that the reduction in tariffs will allow them to lower wholesale prices, which should be passed on to consumers. Analysts predict that if the measures are implemented efficiently, Americans could see an average reduction of 5 to 12% in grocery bills over the next 6 months. Additionally, smaller local grocery stores are expected to benefit from federal supply chain incentives, ensuring that rural and less populated areas have access to affordable staples. Politically, the executive order positions President Trump as a leader who takes direct action to protect Americans from rising costs. Supporters see it as a fulfillment of promises to prioritize everyday Americans, particularly seniors and retirees. Critics argue that such measures may have unintended consequences, such as market distortions or potential strain on federal budgets. However, the administration maintains that the order is carefully crafted to provide relief without jeopardizing economic stability. The timing is also strategic, as inflation and food security remain top concerns among voters. Analysts suggest this could strengthen support among older Americans, who consistently turn out in high numbers during elections. For consumers looking to make the most of this relief, check local grocery ads. Stores will begin updating prices to reflect changes. Use shopping apps. Many apps will alert you to discounts and deals aligned with federal incentives. Stock up on essentials. While prices are temporarily reduced, it's a good time to buy staples like rice, pasta, canned goods, and proteins. Monitor senior benefits. Social Security recipients should check official communications to see how additional relief is applied directly to their accounts. While the executive order is promising, experts caution that its success depends on proper enforcement and collaboration between federal agencies and private companies. Some regions may see slower implementation due to logistical challenges. Retailers must adjust pricing without disrupting existing contracts or supply agreements. Monitoring price compliance will require oversight from federal agencies. Despite these challenges, analysts are optimistic that the combined measures will have a positive impact on grocery affordability nationwide. The executive order may also influence related sectors. Reduced grocery costs could increase consumer spending in other areas, stimulate local economies, and provide a buffer against inflation. For seniors, retirees, and Social Security recipients, the impact is immediate. More money in their pockets each month. For families, it means less financial stress and better access to nutritious food. Economists are already tracking the changes to evaluate long-term benefits, and early reports indicate a measurable reduction in the cost of essential goods in pilot regions. President Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at lowering grocery prices. Millions of Americans, especially seniors and Social Security recipients, will benefit from direct relief. Retailers and manufacturers are adjusting prices to comply, with expected reductions of 5 to 12% in essential goods. The order addresses tariffs, supply chain issues, and provides senior-specific relief. This is a historic move, addressing one of the most pressing financial challenges facing Americans today. Families, retirees, and seniors alike are likely to feel the positive effects in the coming months as grocery bills finally begin to ease. Stay tuned for more updates on how this executive order is rolling out across the country and what it means for your family's budget in the weeks ahead.